Hello, my fellow gaming tankers, and I might actually be having to say hello to the PC gamers on this one. But before we get into why I'd be saying hello to the PC gamers, let us begin with the Wargaming prayer. Dear Tank Jeebus, grant us the things we cannot change. For Wargaming maketh the rules, and Wargaming breaketh the rules. And Wargaming is doing something that, at first, when I first heard about the Project Cold War Alpha for PC, I was like, I'm console exclusive. I ain't got the money or the time for PC. If I had the money, I could make the time. But first things first, this is the first 50 minutes. I've edited some things out so it's shorter, but this is literally my initial impressions. And we're starting off with a stereotypical wargaming tutorial of, this is how your tank moves. And that's it. Utterly basic. And with what the capabilities of some of these tanks are going to have, or do have, yeah, trial and error is going to be necessary. Reading and hopefully understanding what you're reading, and then going on YouTube. So, future content creators, you will be utterly important to the success of this game. Go figure, wargaming, finding a cheap way to do things. Shocking. But, now, I am, as I said, a console exclusive. I have 9 years on the PlayStation with World of Tanks Modern Armor. That includes probably like the past 3 years or so, or more now, actually, I think 4. I'm coming up on 9 years. Or 11? No, 10. It's a bit late at night. I'm rushing through this. I'm sorry. I have 4 years of being predominantly, mainly a Cold War exclusive player. That means World of Tanks Modern Armor has 2 modes. You have World War II mode, which is like similar to what you might find on PC, although the boys and girls in Chicago did it their own way. So they're separate from Blitz, they're separate from PC. And then about 4 years ago now, give or take, Update 6.0 saw the inclusion of a new mode, Cold War mode. This is where modern tanks were included, and True Vision, and the First Division for the console version. Many players lost, some gained. I stuck around and eventually found my way to Cold War because I wanted to play T-72s and have never left, and I think that's great. So I will be coming at this from that perspective, and I know I'm very curious, side tangent, to see how many World War II players who, I have to be very, 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 very careful how I word this to keep this PG-13, who complained quite strongly about how garbage Cold War mode was for the game, how it was meant for imbecilic morons and should be taken out, who will then go to this game and be like, this is great. I'm very curious, but also questioned a lot of these people's sensibilities. Yeah, I have no idea what this is. So the tutorial, you got 3 different tanks, very short-handed, and I sped it up just to get through it. But yeah, this is, from the console perspective, that is going to be curious, because there is nothing, very little real about this. Also, this title screen implies that it's Cold War Project. Hate the name, can't wait for it to be changes. This is all alpha, not beta. This is alpha. So, although I wouldn't mind having an attack hawk. Okay, can we get an attack eagle to take out drones, which I'm assuming gonna be here. So this, again, like as I just said, this is all alpha. Everything I'm saying here is taken within the first basic hour of play. Take it with a grain of salt. So the first thing that is probably going to be a major part to the success of this game is something that every time a new player comes into console, oof, this is a one-take wonder, I tell you, console, and they start playing game, it's like, oh, is this, or someone who's interested, is this cross-platform? Does this work with PC? No, it doesn't. Project Cold War is cross-platform. So you have PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Wargaming, I have a sneaking suspicion, definitely saw the strength of Fortnite, and also saw how well Helldivers 2 did. And we're kind of like, you know what? Let's try this out. Let's see if we can make this work on console. I realize this might upset PC players because they will look at console and realize. So the technological limitations of the console means that certain parts of this game that could do better because of the hardware upgrades that can occur on PC will not happen. So I'm pretty sure PC gamers are not going to be happy that any sort of technological retardation is being deliberately put in because Wargaming wants to have the widest audience possible. Well, if this does fail, yeah, sorry, great, you win, but if it does succeed, then hey, capitalism prevails. And it's not perfect. This is definitely an alpha. And my biggest thing is, going back to tutorials, sometimes I really do appreciate when a game has the screen tutorial, just so I can get a understanding, because there's a lot of information. And also, what I like to see here, I don't know about all you other console players, but hey, Wargaming, D-pad, you use the arrow buttons, not we use the sticks, the analog sticks, for motion and movement, but for navigating through the screens, as I'm fumbling around here on the screen, I use those to direct myself through the menus. Not sure how to unlock equipment and upgrades. Well, upgrades, obviously, you level up the tank, you level up your commander? Your agent, that's it, agent. Again, this cannot be called Cold War. They've got to come up with, this has nothing to do with, some of these tanks didn't really exist then, so, and that's nitpicking. I will definitely be playing around the settings here in a bit, after this. Yeah, going back to Modern Armor Cold War mode, there's something that's carried over to this is there is no real terrain resistance with these tanks. So you get to your top speed quickly. So, hey, War Thunder players, you want to go fast? Wargaming's here for you. Yeah, I'll get to the Fortnite aspect of this in a bit, but I definitely feel like this is going to be targeting War Thunder and arcade players, and not the simulator players. They might vomit if they see this. I'm guessing. I've never played War Thunder. I don't have enough. One tank game is enough for me. I'll get to that in a bit, but so Armored Warfare, if that still exists when this finally hits, goes to be fully released, yeah, sure. Also those players, it's gonna be interesting going forward here, especially when you have capture points and stuff where balancing these tanks is gonna be interesting, because I'm worried. It's not so much now because we're still playing around with the few tanks there are, so us players are just experimenting, but as the game becomes more solidified, I worry certain types, or a certain type of tank, will probably become more of the standard, and just because it's good enough to do everything, even though it's not good enough to do everything, or just like, jack of all trades, master of none. Will it be the M1E1? I don't know, but it also depends on all the upgrades and stuff that will happen here, and cosmetics, and that is sort of maybe a detractor, because a lot of this is where I think traditional, also War Thunder, or Warfare, and World of Tanks players, that's across every platform that Wargaming has, will probably be like, well, I want to get the next tank. I want the upgrade to be another tank. I like the tech tree. I want to have a progression in that sense, not just be stuck to one tank at some point and be able to change out a few things and then eventually get bored. I want that sense of progression. I want the tech tree line. I want to see myself progress upwards in that regards. But then again, one agent, one tank, it really does simplify things, although there will be several agents and several tanks going forward, so there will be that level of complexity too. But maybe just upgrading and leveling up will be more palpable to newer-ish players, or players who just aren't into the minutia of tanks and the history of tanks, and just, yeah. One thing I will, I'd like to have a better understanding of what rounds I'm loading. It's all there under the triangle button, just not sure. Trying out, it's interesting in that regards. I will say this, as stop kitty, back kitty, don't scratch it. As I will now address something before we too far. Do I think initially that this will be, as some people really want after update 6.0, kind of hate Cold War mode so much in World of Tanks Modern Warfare that they kind of, I think they certainly implied they wouldn't mind seeing the game just die, and they may say that this is the game to do that. Well, then again, the same can be said about World Tanks. This is going to divide the player base. It's going to pull players away. I don't know if Wargaming cares about that, because, oh, this lowers the player base of this one of other games, but at the same time, this will make us more money. This will make money. I think there's a lot of hectic chaos to this game that will keep some people that like the slower, more comprehensible gameplay to stick with what they know, the tried and true, proper, I'll say proper because there are egos at play here, the proper World of Tanks game. But this, Wargaming definitely wanted this test to succeed, because they had it on they had every one of their platforms putting out World of Warships Legends. I don't know about Blitz, but so, and as to what will the point of this game, well, besides to make money, remember, as I've said before, capitalism won, communism lost. So if you're not making money, well, you're just not succeeding in the world. Ugly truth of it. So, where was I going with that? Oh yeah. This is going to be, because some of the purists, World of Tanks purists, really do hate that some of these collaborations are occurring in the tank simulator game. And, well, this certainly opens up that door, as we've seen with Fortnite and Call of Duty. No one complains about having a John Wick skin in Fortnite. Would you complain about having a John Wick agent with his own tank skin? Would you? this has nothing to do with history, which is why once they ditch the Cold War name, I will totally be accepting of that. Boy, hey, World of Tanks console. Remember Hot Wheels? Remember the WWE? World of Tanks PC players and those of us in the know on the console. How do we feel about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Turtles in a Half Shell. Did you buy the skins? You might, PC players, check out what we get for tanks on console. You got skins, we get tanks. Really freaking expensive tanks. But we might get 3D commanders. And then again, yes, 3D commanders to 3D agents. There's a lot of us Cold War players kind of feel like, oh, that I've always said like, yeah, Cold console's kind of like just a place for World of Tanks or Wargaming to do some experimentation. I kind of feel that a little bit in this mode or this game. Again, in case you haven't noticed, yeah, no real terrain resistance. That's something that's prevalent in Cold War mode, especially at Era 3, which is where you get Abrams, T-72Bs, T-80s now, and sliding. Yeah, that might be addressed. There's a bit of sliding going on that I don't think should be there. So, I don't know how I did so well, but that is sort of my initial impressions and thoughts of why this game will succeed or won't succeed, because it's going to be, it really is going to be if it brings in new audiences, a new audience. And I think because it's Wargaming won't be limited by the historical accuracy, they can start doing collaborations that are greatly outside of them, which they've already been doing. But now this game will be like Fortnite, it'll be like Call of Duty, it'll just be like, all right, sweet, anyone want an M&M tank? And I'm not talking about the candies, an M&M commander. Hey, Rambo's back. Well, oh, sorry, Rambo's in World of Tanks PC. If we've already had Rambo in World of Tanks console, so I think this is where, if, I hate to say this because I know some people are going to be like, if they can simplify this enough to be more appealing to a general audience that they need to bring in, this will work. Armor profiles and things, however, will be it's going to be refreshing. It's like, yeah, you can't just shoot and hope to pen. I do like, and it's kind of proving somewhat successful here, that graphically armor can be destroyed, like ERA, which is something we don't have in World of Tanks Modern Armor. So I kind of want this to succeed because I think competition is good, and World of Tanks Modern Armor doesn't really have a proper competitor. War Thunder is a competitor, but I don't think that you got your War Thunder players and you got your World of Tanks players, and it doesn't really, and it's, so this internal competition could be good, and I hope it is good, because there's certain aspects of modern armor that really need to be addressed, and sometimes audience bitching is not enough to light a fire under a developer's ass. I really hope that doesn't push me too close to R rating here. I've already had a very minor issue with YouTube and having to appeal a certain age restriction, which was totally unfounded, and was quickly appealed. And it's like, yeah, you're good. So this is a new wargaming game, but it's also a stereotypical wargaming game. Again, content creators, they are going to be what make or break this game. If there's enough of them giving clear instructions on how to play this game, it will do fine. because, like I said, the tutorial sucks. Learning all the capabilities of these individual tanks and how your agents interact with them is what's going to be, and that's kind of where you start to separate away from the Fortnite, Call of Duty. I'm not going to say Call of Duty or Battlefield. Those do have nuances to them, but this might be, well, there's two levels of complexity. One, you got to understand your agent, and two, you got to understand your tank. You might not be able to figure those out at the same time, so one at a time, and then that you have that kind of complexity, and have a few crap matches, and some people are like, well, thank God this is free to play because I can uninstall and I didn't spend money, so I don't hate it. Goodbye, so long, farewell. That has been my initial experience. I will be playing more. I want to see what this does, how it goes. I do think I don't know if I want to say streamlining of perks, upgrades, and consumables is what's necessary, but also a proper tutorial would help with that. So that, honestly, it's like, hey, Wargaming, tell your developers to, oh god, telling Wargaming developers to create a cogent and effective tutorial. Considering the fact that World Tanks Modern Armor, their first tutorial, once 6.0 came in, Cold War came in, had a M1 Abrams taking on T-44s. A's, I think it was. No, it's just T-44. No, T-44A. Yeah, that Tier 8 Soviet tech tree medium. Yeah, it made sense to someone. When you have a tank with APF FDS that will penetrate absolutely every part of a T-44, that's a great setup for failure for the player. So, I think the game loop is I don't know how much to explain about the game loop just yet, because A, this does feel like right in my wheelhouse of the type of games I would play. Obviously, the next question is, I already play World Tanks Modern Armor, I already play Helldivers 2. Do I need a third online gacha game? Considering how Wargaming has been recently with loot boxes, war chests, I don't know. The question really does come down to, especially for the Wargaming veterans, whether you've played one game or you play Blitz, World of Warships, and World of Tanks, do you feel comfortable with trying to spread your time out between 1 to 2 to 3 Wargaming games? And that could be asking a lot of veteran players, especially if we've already sunk thousands of hours into one Wargaming game. And that's kind of what I was, when this first was announced to be coming to PlayStation 5. I heard about it was coming to Xbox. Oh, that sucks. Well, I don't play Xbox. But, oh, PlayStation? Yes, hell yes. Sign me up. I got it approved. Thank you for that, Wargaming. Graphics look great. Actually, I don't know how I feel about it. It's so bright and colorful. I'm like, it's almost like it's trying to be. I feel like the Grinch. Like, it's so bright and happy. Make it stop. Ugh. That's such a weird complaint. It really is. But yeah, the tank looks great. Again, future cosmetics, customization, something that is lacking in World of Tanks Modern Armor, but definitely World of Tanks PC has been going that direction. Now we have a game that, starting from the ground up, could have that incorporated. Is going to be very interesting, because honestly, this Leo here is a bit too busy for me. A lot too much junk on it. I wouldn't mind streamlining it a bit, maybe incorporating a few more tactical neon aesthetics. That's just me. Hey man, it's a video game. And if I want to look like like a like oh my god, like a whacked out Death Star, hell yeah. Not a, I don't know if we need an FP4005. There is a version of that in there, but I, having some more customization would be great. I mean, and oh yes, this does have, I guess, True Vision. I've been sniped many a time. Really interesting how there definitely seems there's armor and a health bar, but one shot, one kills, especially with the low armored tanks, is a thing. Oof. Thank God for respawns. Definitely gonna have to be keeping an eye on what game modes yet. This is the only game mode I've gotten so far. But if you lack respawn, and you will have to pay attention to your armor profile. So I'm probably gonna wrap it up here. I'll give some final thoughts, and then I will leave the rest of this without commentary. And if you have stuck around for this 26 minutes, thank you. Please like and subscribe. I'm doing streams on Twitch under A Momentary Genius, but I will not commit to anything. I have very little time on my hands, but I'm trying to make time to do more of this stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely dedicating this year to becoming a part-time content creator, which is more than I can say for the past. So and then wrapping up these initial, again, this is initial. I will have, once the beta test, alpha test, not beta, okay? Alpha test is concluded, I'll go and final thoughts, because they are definitely going to be putting out updates, patches for this going forward for the very foreseeable future, trying to make sure it's stable. Obviously, I did not play this day one, because I figured day one was going to be crap, and then PlayStation Network just, yeah, had another blackout yesterday for 24 hours, so I was definitely not playing. I was like, that'd be a great time to play. Nope. I had some free times on my hand, and I spent it with my hand. And that is probably gonna be, yeah, this great open maps too. Gonna have to get used to that. Anyway, as my initial thoughts is, there's promise here, but is there an audience? And time will tell. I love that with this tank. When you stop and aim in, it gets it really, it becomes a marksman, and you can really get like that sniper. And then, yeah, there's that. Oh, kill cam. That's gonna help prevent camping, I think. Oh, yeah, and then once I figure out what to do with all the bombing, call-in, kill streak stuff, yeah, that was going to be interesting. But we'll see. What are your final thoughts? Your thoughts, initial thoughts, I should say. Is Wargaming mad to be doing this? Is this a smart play, or are we going to have to do with the simple fact that the old guard, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Battlefield, World of Tanks PC, World of Tanks console, and all that are all that people want, and nothing new in this type of gaming market is wanted? Because that's also going to be a question: is we really get sick and tired of spending $1,000 on fake digital stuff? Comment down below. Well, I hope you keep tracked on the ground. RNG's in your favor. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.